my name is Jasmine Sky, and I am here today with the most exciting video. I am just still like overwhelmed and so grateful that I get to film this video. I just still can't believe the fact that I have a book deal, that my queer YA fantasy duology is going to be published. It's going to be published by a Big 5 imprint. For those who are interested in the whole process of how I got this book deal, I will be talking about that in another video, which I will talk about a little bit later, but let's just get into what this book deal is and what my book is about officially. And you know, hopefully you're interested in reading it when it comes out in a couple years, because to start off, let's do the, drum roll please announcement about my book. So for those who are new here, I am a YA author. I want to write both YA and adult. Currently, I am writing primarily YA. That's where I am starting my career. I got agented back in August 2020, and then we went on sub, and it was a very long roller coaster of a journey, but I finally sold my book in December of 2021, and I can finally now announce it. Honestly, I didn't have to wait that long. Some people have to wait like months or even like a year to be able to announce. Luckily, I was able to announce like a month and a half after my offer was given. So here we are, but my book deal is for a YA fantasy duology. The first book is called Daughter of the Bone Forest. For those who have been following me, this is my witch YA. Yes, my witch YA did sell, and I am just so grateful that Rosie and Shaw and all of the characters of the Cursed Kingdom are going to get to be out in the world. The first book in the duology, Daughter of the Bone Forest, is set to be out in bookstores near you, winter 2024, so that'll be like January or February 2024. So basically 2 years from now. But yeah, as you can see in this fancy announcement, it is a duology deal, which I am so excited about. This series has always been a duology. There was a couple times that I considered maybe it could be a trilogy, but really this series has always been a duology. That has just been true from like draft 2. So I'm very excited that the duology was bought, and you get to see the full duology in winter 2024, then winter 2025 for the final book in the series. And I am thrilled to say that my book, my duology, is going to be published by Feiwel Friends, which is the same imprint as the amazing Anna Marie McLemore. They publish a lot of super diverse, super engaging YA and also middle grade and picture books and things like that, but they have some really standout queer authors like A.M. McLemore, and it's just amazing to be among this kind of company. Even more than that, my editor is Holly West, who is a senior editor at Feiwel Friends and is the editor of Trisha Levenseller, who writes amazingly fun YA fantasy, and Aiden Thomas. So I am among such amazing company here with my editor siblings and also my imprint siblings, and I am just, how? I'm going to have one of these fancy little symbols. And yes, Feiwel Friends is a Big 5 imprint. Of course, Big 5 is not the end-all be-all, but it is something that I have wanted for myself, and I am just really, really excited. Feiwel Friends is an imprint of the Macmillan Children's Publishing Group, or the Mac Kids Group, which is a really great collection of children imprints at Macmillan. It includes Wednesday Books, it includes Roaring Brook Press, just a ton of really great imprints, and Feiwel Friends obviously is an amazing imprint. I am just thrilled. So yeah, now I can officially tell y'all a little bit more about the Witch YA, because it's coming. It's gonna be there. You need to know if you want to buy it. So my duology is about a girl named Rosie, who is the daughter of horse ranchers, except in this magical kingdom, they don't just raise regular horses, they raise magical horses called bone horses, which are larger and more fierce and have like exposed bone, and it's very cool. But anyway, Rosie is working on her family ranch and also is dealing with this sort of complicated situation with her grandmother, who has been imprisoned in the bone forest for being a feral bone familiar. So familiars like witches and familiars. Familiars are the animal sidekicks of witches, except in my world, familiars are humans who can shapeshift into animals, and they can bond with witches and form this like magical connection between them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So Rosie is dealing, like I said, with this complicated situation because her grandmother is a bone familiar who can turn into a bone wolf and has gone kind of feral, is kind of trapped in the wolf's mind sometimes. But Rosie really just wants to see her gran freed from this, what she considers an unfair imprisonment in the bone forest. So she basically splits her time between helping her family on the ranch and also going and visiting her gran in the bone forest. And one of the reasons she does that is because she herself is a bone familiar. She can also shift into various bone animals, not just the bone wolf like her gran, but also a ton of other bone animals. She is a particularly talented bone familiar, but she absolutely refuses to let people other than Gran know about her talents because her grandmother was forcibly conscripted into the army to fight as a bone familiar, and Rosie wants nothing to do with that. So she's hidden the fact that she is such a talented bone familiar from everyone except for her grandmother, and her family only knows about one of her shifts, which is her bone horse shift, which is very useful since she is working on their horse ranch, etc., right? Well, the story really gets going when Princess Shaw, the daughter of the Witch King, shows up in their tiny little village, and things go from there, but eventually it leads to Rosie deciding to go to Witch Hall, which is the school for witches and familiars, in order to get the cure to save her gran from this feralness, and is hoping to still keep under the radar, basically, and not let anyone know just how powerful she is, because again, she doesn't want to get conscripted. But Princess Shaw seems to be very interested in her, which is not helping the whole keeping under the radar thing, and is putting a lot of attention on Rosie by the other familiars at the school, especially all of the bone familiars who would love to bond with Shaw, who is a bone witch, so that they could one day rule the kingdom. And here comes this new bone familiar who is an outsider and who the princess is particularly interested in, and what's gonna happen there? So it's a bit of an enemies to lovers romance, at least on Rosie's side of things. Rosie is actively not interested in Shaw and in fact dislikes her because of her connection to the military. So there's that aspect. It's also a slow burn across the entire duology. So if you are interested in some pining, it's coming. It's gonna be there. It is a magical school story. Most of the book is set at Witch Hall, which is this magical school for witches and familiars. It is a secondary world fantasy. The time period mimics a little bit more like colonial times than medieval, but it still has that same vibe. Obviously, we're in a kingdom. There is a king, there's a princess, there's all that stuff going on. There is a big war theme and military theme. If you're someone who enjoys military fantasy, that's definitely an aspect of this story. And there's a huge cast of characters across all 4 magical subgroups, which you will learn about when you read the story, and I'm just so excited to introduce them all to you because I just love these characters. I really, really do, and I would not be opposed in the future if I were allowed to write spin-offs from other characters' points of view. But this first duology, this main duology, is about Rosie and Shaw's story, and I just can't wait for y'all to be able to read my witch YA and get to see them for yourself. Now you know about my YA fantasy, my queer sapphic YA fantasy coming out winter 2024. I'm gonna have a whole nother video coming out next week about how I got this book deal. So if you are interested in that, I spent basically 14 months on submission, and I had 3 editors request R&Rs, so those are revises and resubmit requests. I had 3 editors who wanted R&Rs from me, which if you have been following my channel, you will now be able to make the connections with those Witch YA vlogs that kept coming out. My draft 5 vlog and my draft 6 vlogs. Yeah, those were R&R inspired vlogs. But I couldn't say that. So I will explain everything about that and how we ended up with this book deal with Holly at Feiwel Friends in my next video. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are interested. It will be coming out next Friday. I try to post every Friday that I can, so that's pretty exciting. Something to look forward to for next week if you're interested in the process. And then I will have a ton of other videos around my submission journey and other things related to that coming soon. I have a whole list of videos that I'm just very excited to film now that I can officially announce my book deal, which is still very thrilling to be able to say. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, there are links in my description to causes that need your support. It is Black History Month, so I'm gonna add a couple extra links for that down in my description, and I highly encourage you to check those out and give whatever support that you can. And I look forward to chatting with y'all in the comments.